The House Ethics Committee has just released its report on former Congressman Matt Gaetz. According to the report, the committee found substantial evidence that Gaetz had sex with a 17-year-old in 2017 in violation of Florida's statutory rape law and engaged in a broader pattern of paying women for sex. ABC's investigative reporter Olivia Rubin joins me for more on this. Olivia, what sticks out to you from this final report?
Well, the details about that alleged sexual encounter, which the committee says that they have substantial evidence to support with the 17-year-old girl. Specifically, in this report that's been released, she is identified only as victim A. And the committee says based on her own testimony, in part, is how they were able to substantiate this. It occurred at a party in Florida in 2017. The woman told the committee that she was absolutely sure of her sexual interaction with Gaetz at that time, that she had just completed her junior year of high school, Diane, and that she was under the influence of drugs at that party, and that she saw Matt Gaetz himself doing drugs at that party. So it sort of also feeds into that larger narrative that the committee details in this report about Matt Gaetz's drug use, that they say they were able to substantiate. There's multiple women in this report sitting in front of me that told the committee that they had seen Matt Gaetz personally doing drugs. And they also sort of document, Diane, these larger payments that Gaetz made to women, sometimes in cash, sometimes through apps like PayPal, Venmo, of course, which ABC has reported thanks to, Will Steakin. And they have this chart in here, Diane, where they say it summarizes payments made by Gaetz or his associate to women. It totals nearly $100,000, Diane, from the years 2017 to 2020. There's 12 women in here, as well as Joel Greenberg, nearly $100,000 in payments that they say they believe was related to sexual activity or drug use, though they have some caveats that they're not able to substantiate all of those payments. They do have reason to believe that that was for the illicit activity. So a really in-depth, sort of scathing look here, Diane.
And Olivia, last week, Gaetz released a statement saying in part, quote, "It's embarrassing, though not criminal, that I probably partied, womanized, drank, and smoked more than I should have earlier in life. I live a different life now." Now, he was trying to fight the release of this report. Now that it's out, what do you think this means for his career going forward?
Well, it certainly seemed to have derailed his possibility of becoming the Attorney General. Of course, he withdrew his name amidst these allegations. And he is right, that it wasn't, at least in the Department of Justice investigation, found to be criminal. They did not end up bringing charges against him. So it will remain to be seen what happens with his career. He resigned because he was expected to become Attorney General. That, of course, did not happen. So he's no longer a congressman. Part of the reason that he was fighting the release of the report in that court document saying, he's a private citizen now, and the committee had lost jurisdiction over him, and they should not be able to release this report. Of course, that was unsuccessful because now here we're talking about it. So interesting to see where he goes next here. It certainly seems, at least in the short run, to have derailed his plans.
All right, investigative reporter Olivia Rubin. Olivia, thank you.
Thanks.
Let's bring in ABC News senior Washington reporter Will Steakin, who's been covering the investigation into now former Congressman Matt Gaetz from its inception. Well, when you look at this report, the committee says it has substantial evidence of a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old. What's your sense of how helpful she was to the committee's investigation?
Well, what we know is that the 17-year-old, who's now in her 20s, she testified in front of the committee, I believe, on multiple days. And she, what's interesting is Congressman Gaetz, or former Congressman Gaetz, is now on Twitter kind of attacking her and some of the other witnesses. And the committee in the report details that while the congressman has looked to discredit this witness, this victim A, as she's described, the committee found her credible and found her allegations credible. And so we know she testified, and we know that there were other documents, and not only her, but there were other witnesses who corroborated her allegations.
And the committee says Gaetz paid 12 women nearly $100,000 for the purposes of sex. Based on your reporting, what do we know about these women and how he met them?
So what we know, and a lot of this has been reported over the course of the last few years, but what this report does is it kind of takes all that together, and they've been able to use subpoenas to get a lot of these women that were involved and others that were involved on the record for the first time. And in this report, they talk about how according to the report, Matt Gaetz met a local tax collector named Joel Greenberg in 2017. And through that relationship, Joel, who's a local tax collector, as I said, introduced Matt to a number of women he met on the sugar daddy website, sugar baby website called Seeking Arrangements. And Joel would sometimes pay for them to have sex with Matt and others, and Matt would also pay using Venmo, et cetera, according to this report. And that was going on for a number of years until federal investigators started looking into Joel, and that led them to Matt.
According to the report, Gaetz did not act alone, and I know you covered this part and know the backstory here. So for those trying to catch up now, how did this all unfold?
Yeah, so like I said, it's this kind of local story of corruption that starts with Joel Greenberg, who gets elected tax collector in Seminole County. He starts kind of immediately working on a number of crimes and corruption within that office. One of them is meeting these women on Seeking Arrangements and paying them to have sex with him and other men in Seminole County. And one of those men that allegedly was a part of that was Matt Gaetz. And Joel kind of gets into trouble unrelatedly. And when the feds come in and start investigating him, it leads them to Matt. And like has been described, Matt was investigated for a number of years. And the Justice Department declined to bring charges. But now it seems to have been haunting him with this report, which finally is detailing a lot of the allegations that have been in the press. But now you have an investigative body detailing it, the facts that they found.
All right, ABC News investigative reporter Steakin. Will, thank you.